We said it looked like a lot of fun. It looked like something we would want to play as just, people who've been in disc golf for a long time, but it didn't look like a course that we felt should be on the Pro Tour. And a lot of people who've been in disc golf a long time came after us, flamed us because of the history. So, what I'm super excited about is you're one of the few people who's been playing on tour, is still relatively new to disc golf when you compare yourself to like the majority of the field, and you get to see De La with like a fresh set of eyes where you don't have the like bias of history and stuff like that. So I've got to know, fresh set of eyes, what is De La like? What do you think of the course out there? The disc golf course, that is.
So, yeah, because we haven't played the golf course yet. The golf course isn't open until tomorrow. So
When
we'll
does the
get we'll
tournament
get
start? Friday?
mhm.
Okay, so you have 2 days on there.
We get 2 days on the golf course, yeah. After 3 o'clock too, so you're really only gonna get 1 round for 2 days, but I think that should be fine.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't think I've been I this might be the first course that I've been to where if you say something bad about it, regardless of whether there's merit behind it or not, people come after you.
Oh yeah.
And I was trying to think and like try to, I always try to relate it to other sports and try to think of like, does that happen in other sports too? Of where it's like there are either stadiums or arenas or golf courses or fields or wherever it is where places take place or events take place. Where
Yeah.
if you say something negative about it, like the fan base is like just comes after you. Um, I will say it is interesting too because you either see people on one end of the spectrum or the other end of the
Mhm.
spectrum.
Yeah.
I have yet to really find anyone, and we just posted our practice round video earlier today, so I've been getting some, comments from the practice round, and people either say this course is the greatest course ever and they love it, or people are saying like what you guys were saying, I don't see how this is on the pro tour. It's not that great of course. So obviously me coming into it, I don't know any history about disc golf. Like I'm seeing everything pretty much like you said, with a brand new perspective.
Yeah, fresh set of eyes.
And yeah, and it's one thing for someone to come up to you and be like, "Yeah, this course has so much history, so much, uh, it's so iconic. It has this, this, and this." But if you're just telling me that right away, and I don't really have like years of like having that nostalgia build up or anything like that, it kind of just goes in one ear and out the other, right? Um, I will say that this course is definitely unique. It is unlike any course I've played on tour before. So definitely unique in that aspect. Now, should it this is where it's tricky. Like, should it be on the Disc Golf Pro Tour? Well, completely remove the actual course itself, like as far as the layout and how it plays.
Okay.
The reception there is not great.
Yeah.
The parking's pretty terrible. And there's a lot of holes that are blind. So as far as spectating goes, it's not great at spectating. So
Mhm.
it definitely makes a lot of sense of why it's a silver series this year and not an elite series because could not. I don't think they can do live there. I don't think the reception is good enough up there.
Yeah.
Um,
That makes
Now
sense.
they did switch from 27 or 24 holes that has been in the past to 18. I wonder if that was a disc golf pro tour kind of, hey, you guys got to play 18 holes. And they also removed a couple holes. And I've played with Ezra, so I'm just kind of hearing it from him. The holes they removed are a couple holes that really caused a lot of backups because they either like were crisscrossing with other holes
Yeah.
or they removed the one hole where it's like you're just throwing what looks like into a bunch of trees and you don't really know
Is
where
that
your
the
disc
fridge
goes.
hole? Is that what that's called? Or is the fridge hole still there?
No, that might be it. Yeah, because I heard some people complaining about them taking out the fridge hole.
Okay,
So
so that's probably it.
that might be it. And so those holes caused apparently a lot of backups. is what Ezra was telling me. So I think that's probably a positive
Yeah.
to remove some of the holes that are causing the most backups out there. And I'll say this, there are some holes that I really like, are really cool technical shots. Uh, a lot of holes too where you're having to like control the height of the disc,
Yeah. Yeah.
and maybe some holes where you have to like use ground play, which is great. There are maybe a couple too many holes, and it's always tough to like, because people are gonna be on me and get upset at me and all this stuff. Like, it's a lot better if I have like criticism for the course after the tournament,
No, yeah, for sure.
especially if you play well, right? If you play well at a tournament and then have criticism, I feel like people take it a lot better than when you start criticizing a course before.
Yeah.
But for me, I think there might be one or two mini holes that are blind shots. So it's like you can't see the basket, you can't see
Okay.
some of the trees that you have to miss. And there might be a couple holes too where there might not be the greatest line to the basket, but it's a par 3 course. It's a 18 hole par 3 par 54 par 3 course. And I don't think you can get much better than what it is. Like,
Mm.
that's this is what a par 3 course is going to be.
Yeah.
And to me, I think that's what's missing. I think it's missing the par fours, it's missing the par fives. But for what it is, it's a good par 3 course. Now, would I enjoy playing this course? Probably not, because the amount of, and again, it doesn't have anything to do with the layout. It's more just like the fact that your disc can get caught in trees a lot.
Mhm.
Your disc can roll away. Like, we lost one of Ezra's discs today because he threw an upshot and we saw it roll over the hill.
Oh, jeez.
And we looked for it for about 10
You're
minutes.
just gone.
Never found it. We passed a group of like 4 or 5 guys that were just like on the cliff looking for a disc. So it's very similar to like the complete opposite, like Memorial, right? And again, this is what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with it being a wooded course. Memorial is another course that a lot of people hate, right? They're like, it's hyzers, they don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like Memorial as a course to practice because you throw a bunch of discs in the water. So both courses completely different in the sense of like how their layouts are, but when you're just practicing them, I don't know, obviously it's scenic and I'm sure there's a lot of people that like it for that reason, but when I
Yeah.
play disc golf, like that's not really the reason why I'm out there as much. So for me, I'd probably find a course in the area where I'm not having to look for my disc a bunch and not potentially have discs like roll off the cliff. But I can see the appeal. I can definitely see why some people think it's their favorite course and they love it. And I don't know. That's kind of my take on it.
So we'll have to get I guess another check in next week after you've had the tournament there. Um,
I think if you would have asked me this question like 6 months ago, I would have given you a much different answer.
okay,
Because
that's fair.
I feel like where I am right now, it's like I'm much better at being okay with, having discs roll away, being okay with hitting a late tree that you didn't see and having to deal with that. Like, we're all playing the same course. Stuff's going to happen. We're playing it 2 rounds. Stuff is going to happen to everyone. It's going to be about how you manage it and how you overcome the bad breaks.
Yeah.
But
Now I do got to
we'll
ask.
see.
You had mentioned, playing the course, disc get caught up in trees, stuff like that. One of the big things that happened is they've removed the 2 meter rule going into this event.
Mhm.
Now that you've played the course a few times, do you see any lines that you feel like you're able to go up over the top and possibly break the course in some ways that you might not have had there been the 2 meter rule, or is it just tough because you haven't played the course with the 2 meter rule in effect before?
Mm, I could see how like hole I could see how hole 3, I might throw a straight shot versus like a hyzer spike forehand right now. I could see that maybe. I could see a couple holes maybe, but at the same time, it's like that's where you kind of roll the dice
Yeah.
because the percentage of you getting a birdie goes way up throwing the over the top shot, but the percentage of you obviously getting it stuck in a tree goes up as well. But it's like I'd rather probably play those odds than play the odds of not getting the birdie as the percentage of getting a birdie much lower. But at least I'm not getting it stuck in the tree. I don't know. I don't. They might have taken out some of those holes.
Yeah.
Those might be more of the holes. There's not really that many holes that I'm just chucking up and like crashing it into trees.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's maybe
I guess
3
it's
or
more
4.
so less. I guess more so the 2 meter rule being gone on some of the like low ceiling technical shots removes your worry of height control, if that makes sense. Because like before, like now it's a bad break if you hit a tree and get stuck in it to a certain degree. But before it was a really bad break because not only are you now stuck in a tree shorter than where you wanted to be a lot of times, but you also had a stroke for no reason, more or less.
Yeah, there's a I think it's hole 4. It's a forehand roller hole.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
think that's literally the only shot that you can actually get close to the basket. And Ezra's ended up hitting a tree early, and he went for like a high because if you're so far back, there really isn't a line to the basket. So he went like a high stall shot with a putter and ended up getting stuck up in a tree near the basket. So like that obviously would have been unfortunate. Would he have gone low if the 2 meter was in play? Like, I don't know. I think taking out the 2 meter rule is a good thing. You already have enough like roots are all over the place, tons of hillsides, a lot of blind shots. So you already have a lot of variability with how the whole course is going to play.
yeah.
I don't think you need to add another element of whether or not your disc stays in a tree or falls out.
Yeah, there's no need to just add more randomness to it. All right, well, yeah, I'm definitely curious once you've played some tournament rounds out there if your perspective on it changes at all. And I'm also curious what the golf course is like, but we'll have to kind of hear that next week after you get a chance to play it.
I think,
What do you
yeah,
think
I think
scores will be like out at De La on the disc golf course side at least? So through 2 rounds, where do you think the
uh
leader will be?
yeah, before I say that,
Yeah.
I think this will be an interesting tournament to see how people view it. Um, because it's a way I'm telling you, it's a way different experience. Me and Ezra just played a practice round, threw multiple shots on multiple holes, looked for discs on multiple holes, and played in 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
We came from DDO where you do the same exact thing and not even look for discs, and you're out there for 3.5.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see what people think about playing a par 3 course where every shot you're trying to get into circle versus having those par 4s, par 5s where you're making placement shots and stuff like that. It'll be interesting. But as far as scores go, um I think Ezra was saying like double digits last year was pretty solid.
Was that on
And that was
24 or that
I think
18?
I was on 24. I
Okay.
think I was on 24. I think this might be the first time on tour they've done 18 at this course. I could
Okay.
be wrong, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it seems like this is like a big change going to 18 holes. Um I think if you're a couple I think if you're a couple under par, like if you're 5, 6, I think that puts you in a mix
Okay.
after day 1. I think the leaders will probably be close to 10. And then yeah, I think if you're around like anywhere from I would say 12 to 17 going into Sunday, you're probably in a good spot.
Gotcha. Yeah, it'll depend
That
obviously
would
a
be
lot
my
on
guess.
what the golf course plays, if there's a lot of separation
Yeah.
out there or not. But all right, so like
Like I
17,
thought I
18 is gonna be
played
the lead. That's what you're saying.
like I thought yeah, I thought I felt like I played pretty decent today. I got all the easy holes because there are a handful of holes that are like less than 300 feet that you feel like, oh man, I
Yeah,
gotta
to
have
get
a
that.
putt at this one at least for. So I think I shot 6 or 7 today. So I felt like I played pretty well. Like I didn't have any bogeys, I didn't have any bad rollaways, I didn't have any missed putts inside of circles. So like I played very well and I shot 6 or 7. So for me, like, if I can do that both days, I think I feel like I'll be very happy if I'm 12 or 14 under. Um, but we'll see.
Yeah, you just gotta
Obviously
take what the
conditions
course
can
gives you.
change and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I mean,
sure.
there's a good chance I'm over par after 2
Yeah,
rounds,
that's
right? I
that's
might be
true.
up.
At
I might be
daylight, you
at
never
4
know.
over.
At daylight, you never
Yeah, I
know.
might be at 4 over.
I guess that's a funny thing too. Is like it doesn't get said as much anymore. But for a while, daylight was like it was used as like a verb in disc golf. Like if you had a bad rollaway, it was like you got daylawed. Like that was something that
Yeah,
commentary
I've
teams
heard it
said and stuff
from
like that.
people still say it out here.
Yeah.
Um,
So
I had
like,
a really good shot. I had a really good shot on this one blind hole, and Ezra's like, "That's parked," and I'm like, "All right, well, that felt good." And then we got up and we couldn't find the disc, and it was on one of the holes that some of the local people were playing, and they were looking for discs, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's like way down here," and I'm like, "What?" It was like, I mean, it was 70 or 80 feet right of where we thought the disc was going to
oh
be,
geez.
and then and another guy was like, yeah, bad kick, man. You hit that stump right there, and it just shot down the hill and rolled. And I was like, that. I mean, right there, that conversation. If you took what Ezra said to me on the tee pad, and then what these guys said to us once we got up there, that is pretty much day law in a nutshell.